BoxingVoice.com, Nestor Gibbs here in association with FightHype, live with Keith Thurman. Thurman, I wanted to ask you about Gervonta Tank Davis moving up another division, actually skipping a few here. He's skipping 135 and 140. He's going to 140 to fight Mario Barrios. Have you heard of Mario Barrios, trained by Gervonta out of San Antonio?
Yeah, I've heard of him. I haven't seen a lot of him. I know a lot of people like him. Definitely. We all love Tank. We love what he brings to the ring. We know he's very talented. Some of his people, how he's, I don't know where he is right now, all buddy with AB, but we know they've been in and out of their friendships in the past. And AB jumped weight classes, so people before him, the people before him and have already done those kind of jumps and feats, and he probably thinks I got the same skills and talent, if not more, that these individuals had. So I believe I can accomplish the same thing. I believe in Tank, but that the moment little man starts moving up, it's like playing with fire, or turning up the heat in the kitchen. You know what I mean? It's not that he can't take the heat, but if he's skipping weight classes, he's definitely turning the heat up, and he's demanding more out of himself, and I look forward to seeing how he performs.
Did you see his performance with Gamboa, and do you think that the power translate? Because it did take him all the way to the 12th, which shows two things: that A, maybe the power lasts all the way to the 12th round, or B, maybe the power doesn't necessarily translate because it wasn't a true knockout, more TKO, ref stepping in for Gamboa. And he had a busted Achilles heel for those 12 rounds.
Who did? Gamboa? Oh, I didn't know about that. But, I take every fight by fight as a camp by camp performance, and that's because of my inside knowledge in the sport of boxing. And it would be best if a lot of other people started to wrap that around their mind, that when you watch a fighter perform, you're watching the outcome of a camp, right? It's almost like watching Beyonce at a performance, but she only performed like that after the rehearsal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She didn't just get on stage and perform like that. She rehearsed, and maybe that week her voice is cracking a little bit because she's been on tour. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So sometimes each camp won't be the best camp ever, and sometimes each performance won't be the best performance ever. Now, as long as you shake off whatever just happened, get back into camp, do your best to once again add unto yourself. I believe, Gervonta Davis is a very young, very talented individual who has a lot more to give the sport of boxing. He just has to demand it out of himself and showcase his skills and talent to the world on Fight Night.
Now, this is a little bit of a touchy subject, but because you were an interim that was elevated to regular, do you consider the Ugases who were regular champions? Because Tank is moving up to fight a regular champion in Barrios. His fight with Gamboa was for a regular title at 135. This is a regular title at 140, and he's the super WBA champion at 130. So he's...
Who is Tank?
Tank is. So he's being called a 3-time, and with this one will be a 4-time champion. Do you vibe with that notion because you were a WBA regular? Do you believe the regulars are and the silvers?
I don't like the super.
You don't like?
I don't like the super. I think it's super complicated. I think it's a super waste of time. I think it's a super title, literally as a title, just a super title, extra title. I think it's super stupid. Because if you look at the history of boxing, there was always regular champions. Muhammad Ali was a regular champion. Mike Tyson was a regular champion. And regular champions are the great champions. I don't like this division amongst champions as a regular and a super. I think it literally brings in confusion amongst boxing critics and sports fans, and it just creates more division. I don't like the political position of a super champion not having to face mandatories. I think that the sport always performs better when a fighter wants to hold on to a title must uphold the obligations that are connected to the title. Once you hit super champ, you are no longer obligated to do anything but fight who you want to fight. So I think that takes the sport out of the sport. The sport has to have competition. The moment you're super champ, you don't really have competition. Competition can't be mandated upon you. Competition is just what you make of it. And of course, we're here to compete, so we will continue to compete with one another. But the moment I got issued that super champ, or the regular champ, and Floyd was the super champ, I was able to see the division. And then once when Floyd was out of it and I got elevated, I was able to see the division by having that position. And it's an amazing title. You know what I mean? It's a really cool belt. They customize it for you. It's really nice to wear. But I kind of think it's a little necessary. I think it confuses things a little too much, and I don't think it helps rotate in the fights that could happen, you know, the way that it used to happen, where a fighter puts himself in position to fight a world champion by making himself the mandatory. And you can't do that to super champions. And I just think it's unfortunate for those who want to put themselves in position to fight those fighters.